Alright, what is going on today, guys? Today I want to discuss the Monroe severe duty shocks that I have on this car here. As a lot of you guys know, or maybe you guys don't know, but you know, a few years back I had gotten into an accident. I had to get some work done to it, and when I got into the accident, I destroyed one of my rear shocks on here. The other shock was working pretty good. I believe the right rear shock was one that was leaking fluid. I could actually see fluid like leaking out of it. And then the left rear shock was working decent, but what happened was, after being the only shock, you know, doing all the work in the back, eventually that one gave out too. So my car, as I hit bumps, it was like, woo, 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 you know, it started getting real bouncy. So, you know, I decided I'm going to have to replace the shocks, obviously, because you can't drive around like that. I did some research. Originally, I wanted to go with the OEM Motorcraft shocks and struts. I looked into those. It actually wasn't too expensive to do. It was a little bit more than the Monroe one, which is to be expected. It's, you know, OEM. But the problem is they didn't sell the whole entire strut assembly for the front anymore. They only sold rebuild kits. So I had to get like the spring separately, the shock, the actual strut itself, like the part that bolts in. You had to assemble it yourself. They didn't sell it as a whole kit anymore, which didn't make any sense to me. But the amount of money of buying everything all separately and then putting it together was kind of expensive compared to just buying the whole entire assembly. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to buy Motorcraft shocks and then have something else up front. So I did some research, kind of, you know, looked around to see what people were running, how they liked it. And I saw the Monroe severe duty shocks and struts a few times. I was like, you know what, I'll give it a try. We'll see how it is. They weren't too expensive, a little bit pricier than some other stuff, but still seemed pretty good. So I was like, all right, let's give it a try. I bought them, and here we go now. I probably have about 20 to 25,000 miles on them. I think I purchased them with right around 120,000 miles, maybe a little bit less. I don't remember the exact mileage. I think anywhere from like 117,000 to 120,000 miles I purchased them. And I have 143 now. So I'm just going to say 25,000 miles I have on the Monroe severe duty shocks and struts. And it's safe to say that after, you know, we'll just say 25,000 miles. After 25,000 miles, I have no issues with the struts at all. They don't squeak, they don't make noises, they don't leak, it's not sagging. As you can see, the car sits the way it should, doesn't do anything, you know, strange. They're holding up really good. They still are nice and firm. You push down, I mean, it's still, you know, it's still nice and firm like it's supposed to be. It's not bouncy, it's not like a low rider. You know, I'll push down again. As you can see, they're still holding up really good. I'll show you the back here. I'll show you that they're not leaking. If you look at the bushings are still in pretty good shape. You know what I mean? They're, you know, little, maybe slightly cracked a little bit. You know, I mean, it's to be expected. It's got like 25,000 miles or so on them, but they're still holding up really good. The bushing up top, we'll look at that. See the bushing up top here. Actually, that may be the Motorcraft bushing, I don't know. But the bushing there looks good, whether it's from the shock or the car, that looks fine. They're not leaking. You go around to the front, you know, and it's the same deal. They're holding up good. No issues with them. The bushing down here for the strut is in decent shape. You know, it's doing fine. Even the sticker's still on here. The sticker hasn't even come off. It's almost like it's brand new. So the sticker's still on there. But they're not real rusty either. It's not like they're it's not like they got a bunch of rust forming all over them. They're really holding up great, and I've used them for everything. They've been used in the snow, the rain. They've been in every single condition. I've even driven down dirt roads with them. So I've put them through their paces. I have, you know, I've hit plenty of potholes probably hit 1,000 potholes by this point. I put them through their paces. I mean, pretty much any test you can do with a car I've done, besides maybe jump it. I have not jumped this car, so I don't know how well it will do jumping, but I'm pretty sure if I were to jump this car, they would probably hold up pretty decently. Sorry for the wind noise, I'm trying to block it out. If you are looking at getting replacement shocks and struts for your car, I would definitely look into the Monroe ones. Now, I wish I remembered how much I paid. I forget how much I paid for them. If I remember correctly, the fronts were like $200, I think, or like $210, and the rear was $100, I think, for the two shocks, maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on my prices. I don't remember, but I think it was somewhere around the $300 ballpark range, which isn't that bad in my opinion. I think it's a pretty decent price. Like I said, it wasn't the most expensive. There was more expensive options out there, but they also weren't the cheapest either. They're a good middle of the road price, at least in my opinion. I'm overall very happy with them. I wanted to make sure when I bought new shocks and struts, the car rode like it did from the factory, because I actually really like the way it rides. It's not too firm. You know what I mean? It does, you hit bumps fast enough, it cushions the bumps, but it's also not really soft either, where it's like, it's not like I'm driving a Cadillac, it's a little bit sportier, not crazy sporty. It's in my opinion, these are very well balanced suspension setup on these. They're firm enough where you can have fun, take some corners, mess around, but then they're also soft enough where, you hit a bump driving down the road. Yeah, you feel it a little bit, but it kind of takes the bumps pretty well. Same with going down the parkway. You go down the parkway and the suspension setup on this is great, So overall, I am very happy with them. I'm glad I went with these. If anything, it probably would have been just as good going with the OEM route. I really have no complaints. I remember the install was pretty easy, and we had no issues installing them. What else is there to really mention about the shocks? I don't know what else there is to mention. If anything goes on with them, I'll keep updates on them. Whether they start leaking or they start getting soft, whatever. But after like 25,000 miles, they're doing good. I'll try to put the part numbers down below in the description. I think I did make a video about the shocks a long time ago. I think I put the item number down in the description. If not, I'll see if I can try to find it online. That way you guys can check them out. They may even be discontinued. I don't even know. I'm sure they still make them, but I mean, this is pretty much it, guys. After 25,000 miles, it's doing pretty well. I think that's pretty much it. I don't really know what else to say. Just a quick update on the shocks and struts here. If you're thinking about buying them, definitely have at it. Like I said, I've gone through everything: dirt, snow, just regular street driving. It's been through everything. It's been fine. Handles great. Handles just like it did from the factory. So, all right, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and that's my little review here of the Monroe Severe Duty shocks and struts. Take care, guys. Peace.